So I came to Lehigh in '79, looking for a place that had the potential to explore the liberal arts side of theater in a way that could be pre-professional for the very few students for whom that's appropriate, and is basically a life investigation for the students who are majoring in it because it's just plain good for you. I was hired as an assistant professor in the Department of English, in the Division of Speech and Theater. There was no theater department. And then eventually in 1988 or 89, I think, we convinced the trustees to create a department of theater. It was part of a movement on campus to just focus on the arts and sciences in general, to attract a kind of student who wasn't sheerly preoccupied with becoming an engineer or becoming an accountant, that there were, and now to the arts and science population is the largest of the 3 undergraduate populations on campus. The very first production I directed was unplanned. I wasn't going to do it, but they had selected a production. I think a student was going to direct it, but then for some reason that student didn't do it or couldn't do it. So I directed a production of The Glass Menagerie in the Wilbur Drama Workshop in January, February of 1980, after my first semester here. Later that very semester, I directed the production I was intending to direct, and I love the Glass Menagerie experience, it was great, but it was a production of David Mamet's American Buffalo from 1980, and that was late, that was spring, you know, April. But I'm working on a future directing project of Romeo and Juliet that involves almost a year's worth of script analysis and analyzing the play mentally and just where we're going to focus it and target it. Acting classes were among the first ones I taught. Those are the nearest and dearest to me, and we would teach them in the old Wilbur Drama Workshop with some very talented students, regardless of their interest in majoring in theater. There's a subset of people who did theater in high school or who just plain love it. Same thing is true with music, of course, and who are happy to be able to come to a college that they can either major in theater or major in architecture or electrical engineering and pursue theater seriously and not just for fun. But it's always fun if you love it, but also with high standards and goals in mind. My current teaching load includes supervising some directing projects. We just closed a project by an advanced directing student of Eve Ensler's play called The Good Body, about female body issues.
I know Gus because he's my professor. He's my advisor, he's my mentor, he's a whole bunch of things to me. Especially this year. I've worked very much in tandem with him a lot this year. Well, I directed his show, The Pillow Man. He is my mentor for my own directing project that just closed, The Good Body. He is my pseudo-advisor, with my actual advisor is on sabbatical at the moment. And he's the professor that I'm TAing for, so you could really just say I'm majoring in Gus this year. He's the professor I feel who's taught me the most here in the department. His class, which is more or less the introduction to directing, but it's a writing intensive, helps you analyze the plays. That class is probably where I've learned just the most out of all the Lehigh classes. It's the most helpful class I've ever taken, and the only class really, well, not the only class, but one of the few classes where I've come out of that and gone, wow, I'm gonna be using these skills for the rest of my life. I'd say Gus is pretty much the backbone of the theater department. Always been involved. He's always trying to get new people involved. Again, just always trying to be helpful, always trying to be involved in the theater. He was on sabbatical for one semester last year, and even then he was still in here all the time, visiting classes, visiting shows, complaining about how he has nothing to do at home. He's not the head of the department, but he's kind of the secret head, if that makes any sense. Even when you're talking with him, you know that he's a very put together person, that he holds a lot of sway in the department.
When Lehigh built the Art Center in the mid-'80s, when we took position, it was really a wonderful thing to be in on the planning of that and the execution of it, and now we're here 15, 16 years. While the professors here, me included, see things we'd like to change, as we always should, I always have to remember that while everything can get better, we're still doing okay.